Hey guys, I'm back. This time I want to deal with the teaching part that Cahill will be doing on Friday night. Cahill, you may want to, in a sense, um, review a little bit what you've been doing in just a couple of sentences. You've been going through the Garden of Eden. You've been going through Adam's sin. You've been going through Cain and Abel, Noah. We talked about the Tower of Babel and through all that, how people have attempted to deal with their own sin in their own way. However, there is only one way to deal with sin, and that is to substitute with another life. And that's what God is trying to teach us. So where you pick up the story of Abram is this period after the Tower of Babel. And you can connect that with the narrative that Kerry had just told them. And you might just want to pick up the story with where Abraham is now 75, Sarai, Abram and Sarai, they can't have any children, but they've traveled all the way from Ur, the city of Ur in modern Iraq, all the way to Canaan, and now they are in Bethel. And so this is where you left, where Kerry left the story. And what you could do, you could just begin by emphasizing the first emphasis that you make is Abram's decision to follow God's direction, although he didn't know where he was going. This is called faith, where God just simply tells him, I want you to go to the country I'm showing you. He doesn't know where he's going. So this is a huge step for him. However, Abram decides to believe God, because on this because of God appearing to him, and so Abraham leaves everything and moves to Canaan. This is where you have to then go to the 4 promises that God makes to Abraham. I will make you a great nation. I will make you a great name. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. All the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you. So in this context, then Abram decides to worship and to build an altar. And so when he gets to that point, we want to explain to the kids that Abram understands the importance of having his own sins sorted out. This whole idea of another life being substituted for the person that is sacrificing. Then you can begin to focus on the fact that God's promise to Abraham, all those 4 promises are quite huge, because we mentioned in the beginning there is a problem. Abraham is 75, Sarah is close to that. They can't have children. So how can you get this promise of I'm going to make you a great nation when he can't have children? And if you remember throughout this time that you've been talking about creation, from creation, when God promises through the seed of Eve to provide a deliverer, and all this way, now we're coming to that place where God is telling Abraham that one of his descendants is going to be the deliverer. Now that is a huge emphasis, because now we're kind of beginning to point to who that deliverer is, that is Jesus. Then you can go to Genesis 15, and again, get the kids to read the Bible, get them to read with you, to follow you reading, and you go to verses 1 and 2, 5 and 6 in Genesis 15. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram, I'm your shield, your very great word. But Abram said, O sovereign Lord, what can you give me, since I remain childless? God took him outside and said, look at the heavens and count the stars, and indeed you count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. Then the key thing that you want to teach now is Abram believed the Lord and he credited it to him as righteousness. He counted Abram's faith as righteousness. And then you can go on to explain the whole idea of the righteousness being the perfection of God. Make sure you explain what righteousness means. Then the whole idea of counted as credited, as God took his own righteousness and exchanged that for Abram's sins. So now Abram has on his account this righteousness of God that is far greater than any of his sins, and therefore when God looks at Abram, because of Abram's faith in God's promise, then God counts that righteousness, and that is absolutely powerful. And in a sense, this is what God does with us, and this is where you want to make sure that you don't leave the kids in any doubt of the fact that that's what Jesus did for us, and that's what he could do for them as well. I love this little closing of Abram's faith into something that he could not see. Then you can go to Hebrews 11, where Abram was looking for the city which has foundation, whose architect and builder is God. And this is the result of this faith that Abram has in the promise of God, that God is going to do for him something that is humanly impossible. God is going to make him a great nation. And how does he do that? By faith. And so hopefully that will be enough emphasis. Keep it straight. Keep eye contact with the kids. Make sure they get what you're saying. If you see them a little bit confused, just slow down and begin to get them to repeat things that you're saying, so you can make sure that they understand, and that their whole focus is on this idea of faith, because then the next teaching that you'll be doing will be on belief, and that is going to make things more solid for them, where they can begin to question, well, what place does faith have in my life? What is it that I have? Do I truly have faith? And that's going to be the whole issue about belief, where Abram believed God, and that was counted to him as righteousness. So hopefully that will make sense, Kahal. I know that you're going to do a great job. So have a great blessing and have a good time on Friday, guys. As you know, I'll be with the elders doing some leadership training, but I'm sure that you will have a blessed time. God bless you.